morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1Mby1M Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. 1Mby1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. We operate globally from Silicon Valley, and we want to help entrepreneurs in every geography, every segment of information technology. But the constraint is that we only work within information technology. So if you are listening to this presentation and not part of the information technology or technology-enabled services space, this is probably not the right forum for you. This is the 516th free mentoring roundtable. We've been doing this since the fall of 2008. Over 150,000 people have participated in these sessions from literally all over the world. When we started, our footprint was mainly North America and India. But today we see entrepreneurs from almost every country in Africa included, plus everything else. So it's been a fascinating journey of working with various ecosystems, various players in various countries, industry segments, so forth. The event is being recorded. Every single roundtable recording is available on our YouTube channel, 1M1M Roundtable. If you are following us on Twitter and want to live tweet today's show, the hashtag is 1M1M. If you're not following us, you could at 1Mby1M or at Romana. We publish a lot of interesting content. These are the call-in instructions. It is a roundtable, not a broadcast, so we want you to participate as much as you would like to. So I will put this slide back up a bit later. We have some scheduled programming first, and you're very welcome to dial in. We are going to start today's session with a conversation with Padmaja Ruparel, a very long time member of the Indian startup ecosystem, co-founder of Indian Angel Network, the oldest angel network in India, and founding partner of the IAN Fund. Padmaja, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So let's catch up. Tell us a bit about what's happening in the Indian startup ecosystem from where you sit. What are you observing? What are the trends, and how does that relate with what you are doing in Indian Angel Network? How have your activities evolved? Of course, we have talked many times before, so I'm very familiar with
Thank you. I'm delighted to be back. India is growing. It is the fastest growing startup ecosystem, as you know. It is now at the center of the spotlight here, and we just finished one of the largest global startup events that I know of last weekend, which was hosted by the government with a heavy duty participation from the private sector. We are bidding at 160,000 registrations, and it was a huge success over 2 days. So we just got out. Yeah, I just organized that, and I just got out of it. So this is well timed. I think the big thing that's happened here is startups have become at the center point of old industry, traditional industry. So investing in startups is big time. Now it's a part of the venturing has got going. We have, over the last 5 to 6 years, grown the VC industry. We had about less than 150 venture capital funds about 5 years ago. Today we are close to 600. So that's a huge jump. I think today, if you look at some of the listed companies, some of the companies that are listing in India, 60% of them are VCP backed. So equity funding from angels to VCs to private equity is very, very critical for the growth of the Indian economy. The second big piece that we've seen, that the virus of entrepreneurship and the virus of investing both have infected every single industry that I can think of. So we've invested in about 17, 18 sectors now, and we still think there is more to be done.
And when you say,
right across,
Padmaja, I have a question on what you just said. By the way, your audio is a bit stop and go, so you're coming to us with a little bit of a delay, so just be aware of that. So the question that I was going to follow up with, as you said, you've invested in 17, 18 sectors. Elaborate on that. Are you talking about making information technology investments in various sectors? Are you talking about various sectors, non-information technology? How are you thinking about what you just said?
Well, one is pure tech, which could be SaaS companies, which could be deep tech companies. Those are, of course, one pure tech companies that we invest in. The other piece is because we as investors want to invest in large scalable propositions, and technology is critical to scale. So therefore, companies which is like in food tech, clean tech, health tech, agri-tech, everywhere we are seeing technology as an enabler. What is happening?
So as that's happening, what is the source of the founders, like backgrounds of the founders who are going into these sectors? Are they coming, where is the domain knowledge, where is the technology knowledge? What are you seeing in the mix of the founders?
I think we are seeing a mix in the founders themselves. So we see very, very good technology people, which are CTOs, business people. So that's a big thing what we were seeing. The second piece is because entrepreneurship has become almost the first choice of career, even engineering graduates who one would have thought are only techies are very quickly acquiring business knowledge. So I think we are seeing a very, very healthy movement towards a mix of tech and business, which is, I think, excellent. And the third piece, I think the third piece we are seeing is very deep domain expertise coming. We've invested in a manufacturing company, which is a waterless robotic solar panel cleaner. One would have thought that that's a hardware company, right? One of the finest tools and technology, which allows, by the way, and it's a story you actually hear. When the pandemic hit in India, locked down, and it was the toughest lockdown, this young founding team of single digits, literally 8 years of total experience, they built a ventilator within 95 days from conceptualization to market.
Fantastic. And did they find great adoption quickly, or was that already happening by the time they came to you?
No, they've not only adopted and sold, they've become a strong revenue line, second line of business, while they're also building their solar panel cleaner. So I think that's what we are seeing. We are seeing a very, very fine, honed genetics of entrepreneurship. And that, I think, is excellent for the country and for businesses.
Fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous. This is all very good direction. It's just, it's amazing how the Indian startup ecosystem has changed. I started working on it. Well, I did startups of my own out of India, product startup out of India back in 1997. So that was way ahead of the curve. But I think I started working on entrepreneurship development vis-a-vis India in 2005. So it's been really fascinating to see how interestingly things have moved in the last 15 years.
That's true.
How are you, how has your thinking evolved vis-a-vis Indian Angel Network and IAN Fund? What are you looking to do? What are you doing? What are the highlights of your strategy at this point?
So, as you know, IAN was the first angel investor group in the country. We today have 500 investors, and where we started investing from about $30,000, 25 lakhs. With the fund that we have launched about 3 years ago, which invests in companies post-angel round on Series A, what we've actually created is India's single largest horizontal platform for seed and early stage investing. Which means that from 25 lakhs.
Sorry, Padmaja, your audio is a bit tricky. So you were saying that it's the single largest platform for seed and early stage investing, but you also said that the IAN fund is a Series A fund, post-seed fund. So I'm trying to understand which is which and how do each of those play?
Yeah. So what has happened is between the angel group and the fund, entrepreneurs can today raise from $30,000 to about $7 million on a single platform. So as they start their companies, they can start raising from the angels and keep growing, and then start raising from the fund, which completely reduces their fundraising time. Yet brings in the huge mentoring and market access and operational guidance from some of the finest entrepreneurs.
Very good.
Successful entrepreneurs in the country, from Infosys or people like a number of companies around who's considered the family, etc. So I think finest hands on board come and help young entrepreneurs build their companies. Now enable the fundraising to start.
And what are the highlights of your investments? What are some of the companies that you're particularly excited about?
That's a long question to answer. Actually, long answer. We have 180 companies in our portfolio today. And some of the companies which have done very well is Dhruva. If you know, we invested at about $1 million valuation. It's now sitting in your part of the world, which is
Dhruva very well. We've covered Dhruva extensively. I talk to Chashper on a regular basis. I also know Naren and Jishnu very, very well. So Dhruva we are very familiar with. What about some of the newer ones?
Yeah, so that is one of our price. So I want to, of course, companies like Logistics. We have some which has raised money from around the world. We've got companies in food tech like Wow Momos, which has raised money again from around the world. We've raised another company which was born in India, invested by us, moved to your part of the world, is Unifor, which is a company which has done extremely well again. We have invested in med devices companies like which is your part of the world, and raised money from some of the leading health tech companies. We've also invested recently in a company called Vernacular, which is actually playing on the digitalization model and accessing Tier 4 and rural communities, which is where I say the Bharat market emerging. So there are tons of companies like that. We have WebEngage, which is enabling online. We have Padmaja School of Music, which is providing music education online. They have partnered with Berkeley. So I think there's a huge plethora of companies out there, and we are excited about most of them.
What about exits? Talk about exits both in the Indian context in general and also from your fund context. What are you seeing?
Yeah, exits are not easy. I mean, it's a law nature that buying is easier than selling, as you know. So exits are not easy, but I think in the Indian context, exits have started happening. Earlier, there were VCs or subsequent round investors who would buy the earlier round investors, but now mergers and acquisitions are happening. We ourselves have got a couple of our portfolio companies acquired by conglomerates like InfoEdge and Wipro, etc. So that has opened up. Companies like Intel and Cisco are very sharply looking at India, and I think with the huge number of funds that have emanated, as I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of opportunity for exits that has now come up for early stage angel investors. As far as IAS is concerned, we have had cash exits for our investors for the last 11 years, every single year for at least 3 companies. And so we've done pretty well there. In fact, our failure rate is very low, which is at about 15 to 18%. Compared to any other fund around the world or angel group, we're probably one of the lowest. Considering I'm the co-chair of Global Business Angel Network, that's where I get a lot of the data. So that's interesting to know. And it has kicked off, therefore, in investors here to invest in startups. And therefore, there's a lot of unlocking of domestic capital, which entrepreneurs should look at, leveraging.
Padmaja, what is your analysis of what's happening in AI startups in India? How is that trend playing out from where you sit?
No, I think, to be honest, of the deep tech, AI is probably the most common that you will see compared to ML or NLP or something. You will see AI as the most common technology, and it's got a much wider applicability here. But I think what is very, very important for entrepreneurs is you have entrepreneurs hopefully listening to this, is it really scratch the surface, not just an algorithm just working. So I think it's very important for entrepreneurs to understand that investors also understand what AI is and how it operates. So I think that is something that I would like to leave with you on this podcast.
So what you're saying is that when an investor is considering an AI investment, they need to be sure that this AI works. There's a lot of AI out there. Which ones work and which ones don't work? The investor has to sit through that, and that's a tall order. That's what you're saying, yes?
I don't think that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that entrepreneurs need to understand that investors do know how AI works. They figure it out, and if they don't, they'll ask the right people. So entrepreneurs need to come up with good AI propositions and not what we basically say packaged by AI here.
I see. So you see, I see what you're saying. You're saying that people are trying to ride the wave, and they're just saying they're doing AI, and they're not actually doing AI. They're just packaging.
Yeah, and I think that's something which doesn't work because
that doesn't work because investors also understand AI. Good point. Good point. All right, Padmaja, it's great catching up, and your audio is a little tricky today. I would have liked to continue for a bit longer, but let's bring you back with a better audio, okay?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me. And
bye-bye. Take care. We'll keep in touch.
Enjoy the new presidency.
Indeed. All right, folks, we're going to have a couple of entrepreneur pitches next. Remember, this is a safe working session. You don't need to be nervous. You don't need to be defensive. This is a place where you can just discuss your business, and we will do our best to brainstorm about how to accelerate your journey. If you disagree with my feedback, that's also fine. It's your venture. You're going to do whatever you want to do, and however you want to play your strategy. Listen, process the feedback you're getting, and then decide how you want to play it. Jonathan Chashper is the first presenter from Rockville, Maryland. Jonathan, please unmute your line. Let's talk.
Hi, I am unmuted. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you very clearly.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you for the opportunity to present. I really appreciate that. So let's get started. So WolfPack is a tourism and travel tech company. It's specifically interesting in our Corona days, but I think that the opportunity is great, and I would like to talk about that. So the problem we're looking at to solve is what we call the herding cats problem. By the way, thank you for flipping the slides. I appreciate that.
Sure.
We are handling the herding cats problem. And what I'm talking about here is the group travel challenge. So I'll start with a little story. This is how WolfPack was created. I started riding motorcycles about 10 years ago. And one of the trips I went on, I was actually separated from the rest of the group. Suddenly I found myself in the middle of nowhere, no idea where I'm going, and it's a very, very stressful, very, very bad feeling. So I'm trying to call them, they cannot answer. By the time they realize I'm not with them, I was riding, and they're trying to call me, I cannot answer. Very painful. It took us almost an hour and a half to get together again, but at that point, everybody hates me, right? Because I ruined everybody's experience. So I'm riding home and I'm thinking, how is it possible that today we cannot solve a group travel problem? And I'm sure every one of you, whoever went on a group with friends or organized trip, had this problem. Either somebody gets lost, somebody gets separated, you're trying to keep the group together. This is what we're addressing. This is our DNA.
Okay.
Please next. I don't need to tell you the travel market is very, very big. It's a $2.5 trillion market. 30% of that, $800 billion, is the group travel market. Now, we're a startup. We cannot go for an $800 billion market. So we decided to choose a niche where we are going to dominate. That niche in itself is quite big. It's $1.2 billion. I'll talk about that in a minute. A key thing to understand, though, our technology and our solution is completely agnostic of the way of travel. It can, as is today, it's already being used by auto clubs, by bicycle clubs, by motorcycle clubs. It can be used on a walking trip. It really doesn't matter. We're completely agnostic. But we did choose a niche, and we are going to own it. Next slide, please. And the niche we chose is the motorcycle riders niche, specifically talking about what we call on-road motorcycles, which is 80% of the market. It's the first two rubrics you see at the top. That market on its own is a $1.2 billion market. In the U.S. alone, we have 11 million motorcycle riders that ride this kind of bike. 20% of the riders are women. For them, safety and the experience is extremely important. All riders care about the quality of the experience, don't want to get lost, and want to enjoy as much as possible. Once we dominate this niche, we're going to go to the next niche, which we think is young adult travelers. But right now, we're razor sharp focused on this $1.2 billion niche. Next slide, please. What is our solution? So I described the problem from the consumer side, which is the B2C solution. But the same problem exists from the business side as well. If you're a tour operator and you put a tour out there and people get separated and lost, the negative effect on your business is tremendous. Especially today, you mentioned Twitter. Of course, social media, immediately people start bad-mouthing the operator if their trip doesn't go well. Imagine a situation, you're sitting in a bus in Rome, waiting for two people who are late, and you're sitting there for 3 hours. You immediately start complaining how bad the organization is, how bad the tour operator is, and so on and so forth. So we want to allow the tour operators to control the trips in the field out there, and we also want to allow individuals to go on their own trips using WolfPack application. So we are a B2B solution with two major products, the WolfPack Central for the B2B side, which is a SaaS product, and a B2C, which is a premium product for the consumer. Next slide. So let's talk a little bit about how it looks to the consumer. So it's a mobile app. It works on iOS and Android. It's been in the market already. I'll talk about statistics in a minute. Everything starts with the leftmost image where you go in and you create the packs, the groups of people you want to travel with. Can be your friends on a bicycle trip, can be your family on a walking trip, can be your buddies on a auto club. Anything, doesn't matter, as many packs, as many people in a pack as you want. The next challenge in group travel is planning and sharing the trip. Through our user interface, which is mobile as well as web, we allow a very, very easy, simple way to plan trips. It takes minutes to place a trip together, start point, end point, waypoints. The minute it's done and it's saved, everybody in my pack gets the information. So I don't need to go in and say, hey, Maureen, do you remember where we're going? Or, hey, Shramana, do you know where we're meeting? All of that goes away. Everybody has the information. But the real magic happens when you start traveling. The minute you start traveling, you see is the navigation screenshot you see here. Every one of the travelers on their device will get turn-by-turn navigation. You will never be lost again. But the biggest thing is the moving geofence. These are the yellow dots you see. By looking at the phone while navigating, you can see where everybody is related to you. So now you don't need to look back. You don't need to worry about people being lost. And you can actually control the size of the geofence. If for a walking trip, it can be 25, quarter of a mile. For a car trip, it can be 5 miles. And anything in between, it's up to you to control. And just with a glance, you can see if there's anybody lost. And if somebody is indeed separated, maybe a little bit too far, again, you don't need to worry because they know how to get there. They have the turn-by-turn navigation. This is how we solve the herding cats problem. And the last problem we solve, again, with group travel is how do I tell 50 people that I'm hungry? Or how do I tell people sitting in 5 different cars that I need gas? It's very cumbersome to text. Obviously, you cannot text while you're driving or on a motorcycle. It's very cumbersome to call 5, 6, 10 different people. So what we did, we created a very simple 3-tap system. When you tap on the screen, you will see these messages. It's up to you to set the messages. These are 4 messages only, very short. The purpose is not to have a conversation, but rather send a very quick indication as to your need. Very, very effective, simple way to communicate. And by the way, I didn't mention, please feel free to ask me questions anytime. Obviously goes without saying. What you see here is WolfPack Central. This is the B2B product for the tour operator, for the business. They can plan trips, manage the subscription, manage the client, get smart reports. But the most important thing, the same way as I can see the location of my friends, they can see the location of all of their trips on the worldwide map. You can't see it here, unfortunately, but this is actually a video of a recording we did of a group that went traveling. The green dots are what we call the tour guides or the road captains. The red dots are the other travelers. Sitting at the office, you can see where everybody is. So now imagine when you're in the office and you have a walking tour in DC and 2 people are too far, you can actually communicate with them. You can send them a message. You can communicate with the tour guide and say, hey, 2 of your people are not with you, go pick them up. And you can see exactly where they are. This black hole.
Jonathan, I have a question.
Yes.
What is the primary business? Is it the B2B SaaS business or is it the B2C business?
It's actually, right now, it's a combination of both, and I'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So this is our current traction on the B2C side. We have, actually now we have more. We have about 80,000 users, pretty much everywhere in the world. Any country you can imagine, of course, India, Israel, all over Europe, all over the US. Literally every continent, every country. The cost of acquisition is about $2 per person. The lifetime value of a paying user is about $120. We just started collecting money. We have about 150 paying users, so we generate around $800 to $1,000 a month, and we're growing every month. For the
for these 80,000 users, what is the business model?
For them, these users, it's the B2C business model. It's a freemium model. they get the free version, and if they want to use the premium version, they need to upgrade to that version.
And what are you learning about the conversion? Why do they want to get the premium? What is the conversion point?
The conversion point is that when they want to plan a trip, which is more than just start and end point. The minute they want waypoints, the minute they want a little bit more sophisticated trip, this is where they convert to premium. Our conversion rate is about 2%. Our retention rate after 3 months is about 70% stay with us. So we retain 70% of subscription after 3 months. By the way, the market average is losing 80% of your subscriptions after 3 months. So our retention rate is very, very, very high. How does the system work? Well, actually, the B2C, the application works on its own, but for the B2B component to work, all the users, all the travelers need to have WolfPack. And the reason we build that is that we want to drive growth on both sides. So when we go after the market, as you can see here, we have a two-pronged approach. We're growing the B2C market, but we're also growing the B2B market. So overall, the value to the consumer is much, much higher. We
and
have
what is
now.
the business model for B2B?
I'm sorry?
What is the B2B business model?
The B2B business model is a subscription model, SaaS. They pay for usage. We have a very simple conversion from them. They pay based on the number of people they work with. So if small business pays little, big businesses pay more. It's a scale that moves. It's really simple. As of today, we had multiple pilots in 2019. They were supposed to be converting into paying customers 2020, but I'm sure you heard about this little thing called Corona that actually prevented us from completing the conversion. We are now revamping the relationship back, and we already have some people that we spoke with that will be converting to paying customers.
What kind of average deal size are we talking about?
I'm thinking for an average tour operator, the cost is going to be $500 a month.
$500 a month?
Yes.
Okay.
For an average tour.
Within your market penetration segment, which is motorcycle riders, how many tour operators are there in your TAM?
There are, in our TAM, in the U.S. alone, there are about 7,000 tour operators.
So 7,000 tour operators at $500 a month is your market penetration TAM?
That would be on average, yes. Most of those are actually going to be on the larger side, but yes. If you want a quick number, that's yes.
And is there a list of these? Is it easily accessible?
Yes.
Can you easily market to them?
Yes, we have the list. The answer is yes.
Okay. All right.
The other big thing for no, please go back. Oh no, so we have competition. I don't want to go a lot into that. I'll allow for questions later. Nobody in the market is looking at the group travel problem. Everybody is looking at a single person navigating, such as Google, such as Waze, and the other ones. The only ones who are looking at the group travel problem are us, and we're solving that, as I mentioned, for the business as well as for the individual. Next, please. So actually, if you go one back, please. Back up one. Excellent. So this is very important. We have very unique data. Our data is unique because we collect data about you at the best time of your life, where you're having fun, when you are enjoying yourself. We know things, it's hard to see here, but how often do you travel? How many people you like to travel with? Places you like to go with, too. Places you want to eat at. Do you stay overnight? Where do you like to stay overnight? For all kinds of vehicles, we collect acceleration rate, braking rate. If you're on a bicycle or a motorcycle, we do the lean angle. This information is extremely important for manufacturers and brands because we know ahead of time where people are heading. We know their profile. We know what they're looking for. And this is extremely, extremely valuable to insurance companies, manufacturers, vendors. I believe that most of the revenue will come from data, but we're not monetizing on that yet.
Okay.
Next, please. We have a very good team. So David, my brother, is our CTO. Evan has been with us from day one as we started the company. He's our product manager. We have a very good advisory team. Two of them specifically are from our executives with Harley Davidson, Steve Peel and Christian Walters. Steve is a member of the Motorcycle Hall of Fame. We have a really very, very, very good team. We have our own developers. We're moving forward very aggressively. Next, please. This is our current status, as I mentioned. We have the product fully developed in the market, being used. More than 2 million miles traveled with WolfPack. We have more than 13,000 trips with WolfPack. We actually already have in place a commercial platform where we have partners such as Eagle Rider, which is the biggest motorcycle rental in the U.S., Kuryakin, the biggest aftermarket motorcycle parts manufacturer, and so on. We have a utility patent, which is pending. We submitted in 2018. We own the trademark for WolfPack. We're very much aware of IP, so we're looking forward as well. Next, please.
So, how far, from a timing standpoint, how far are you from getting some of the SaaS monetization to start happening? How many months do you think it will take?
I think it will take no longer than 3 months for it to start happening.
Okay, great. All right.
What you see here is our way to make money. So first of all, as I mentioned here, the B2B, the SaaS model is going to generate funds. It's very simple. Even yesterday, I had very good calls with American Legion, which is an organization of 150,000 motorcycles. They have used us as a pilot. They will use us this year. They will be paying. We already know that. There's another organization in Canada. Spoke with them yesterday as well. Same thing. Women motorcycle organization called the Suffragists. They had a pilot with us last year. They will be using us next year. They will be paying. I have a meeting with them next week. The second way to make money, if you go up, it's one back if you don't mind. Again, B2C, the conversion rate, as I mentioned, and of course data. What you will see is that we project $35 million in revenue. 5 years down, we'll talk about that in a minute. Next, please. Our exit strategy, actually, we believe that we are a prime candidate for M&A by company like Airbnb, Expedia, or maybe even Facebook and Google because of the quality and the uniqueness of data we have. Everybody is now looking into the experience component of your travel. Airbnb, you just rent a place. Expedia, you just get a hotel. They're trying to get more involved with you, and they want to offer you experiences. Nobody has visibility into what you like. WolfPack does, and we can share that data, and we'll make it available, and it will be prime data for them. Next, please.
Do you have you had any discussion with Airbnb to do any kind of partnership on the housing side?
We are actually trying to get in touch with them to talk with them about that. This is on 2021 to-do list. These are our numbers. We're looking to raise $2 million. We don't need everything in day one. This is a good place to know that I put in $650,000 of my own money. I'm not talking sweat equity, actual dollars leaving my account to bring us to where we are today. We raised another 150 more or less from friends and family. So we have about $750,000 invested in the company today. We are looking to raise $2 million. We can start with 500 and then go forward. That will allow us to get to 500,000 users 12 months into the raise, which will generate $1 million in revenues, you can see here. And we expect to get to $35 million in the next 5 years. And I think that's the last slide.
All right. So you're here basically in search of funding, yes?
Correct.
Okay. So hang on, I will explain how to use 1Mby1M for funding right after I listen to Deepak's presentation, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Deepak, you are up next.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, Deepak.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, namaste, madam.
Namaste.
Yeah. So myself, Deepak Kumar, from founder of Yogita Biofarming Private Limited. It is in India, and right now what we are doing, we are working with small and marginal farmers.
Yeah.
In India, 70 to 80% people depend upon agriculture, directly or indirectly. But government is trying to build their lifestyle. But some of them are benefited, and the rest of them are, and that condition, which where they belong to 20 years ago, that condition only. The basic problem is that they are not getting good guidance from the university or from any government authorities. So that's why farmers uh, farmers are totally dependent on what the shopkeepers are saying. They don't have guidance why they will do soil test or what type of fertilizers they have to use and where to sell their products. And in India, many remote areas are there. In that area, the connectivity of mobiles is not happening. This is the fact which I am telling you. So, who is the target customer? Small and marginal farmers are our target customer.
Okay.
And what is the pain they are facing? They are facing the low income of small and marginal farmers. When I have started, why I have started this company? When I was working as a project coordinator in a health organization, we used to take 25 rupees for a hepatitis B injection for a dose. So the farmers was unable to pay 25 rupees only. So I have asked them, sir, you have lots of land, you are cultivating good sort of produce, then why do you don't have 25 rupees? Then that farmer explained me that we are not getting guidance. Whatever we are earning, the fertilizers shopkeepers are taking, the pesticide departments are taking, and everybody is taking, and we are not able to feed our children also. So from that day, I have researched for 6 months to 1 year why this is happening. So that on that day, I have found that the farmers should get a good guidance so that they can earn more. Because farmers don't have the guidance how much fertilizer should be used for a particular crop, why soil testing is necessary, what type of seed they required, what is organic farming, what type of training they required, how to sell their market produce. From that day, we have started our organization, and today I am feeling very happy to share that we have more than 500 farmers, and they are directly dependent upon us.
And where are these farmers, Deepak? What's geographically, where are they?
They are, every farmer belongs to West Midnapur district of West Bengal.
Okay. And how do you interact with them? You do in-person training? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, we directly interact with them because I have said firstly that today also mobile tower coverage is not there in remote areas. This is the fact. I am, yeah, ma'am.
And how many people are in your company? Right
now we are 12 people, and 4 main people are there, like me, myself, Deepak Kumar. One is from Chandi Latwa. He is from he's basically a farmer, and 12 people. The team consists of everybody has a vast experience in farming sector.
And
15 to 20 years.
And how do you make money? So you're doing this for 500 farmers in West Midnapur district. So how are they paying you? Or is this a free service?
No, we are giving free service in soil testing, crop and seed selection, but we are taking money for organic fertilizers. We are taking money for the market linkage. Suppose they are selling their produce to us in a government rate. We are taking their produce and we are supplying to local mandis, local vegetables market. We are also in home delivery segment. We have started a new initiative, Janta Sabji Store. We are giving retailing at mandi price.
Okay. So, interesting. Interesting. So I saw your question earlier in the public chat. You were asking, you're not from the IT industry, But to scale a project like this, you're going to have to become an IT-enabled service. Otherwise you're going to be very small. You're going to remain very small.
Yeah, ma'am. I want to do that thing, but for everything, money is required, fund is required, and I don't have so much fund to take any type of IT help from anybody.
Yeah, but that's something that you're going to. Do you understand concepts of bootstrapping?
Yeah, ma'am.
There is a bootstrapping course on our website that I'm going to point you to go and study. That's a good starting point for you.
Yeah.
So continue. What else you want to share, and then I will explain to both you and Jonathan how to use the program.
A customer validation. Right now we are serving more than 500 farmers. More than 500 farmers means 500 farmers are registered with us, and the farmers which are not registered with us, but they are taking organic fertilizer. They are asking what type of seed they required. That type of farmers, we have more than 1,000 farmers. But the farmers which the farmers who are registered with us, they are 500 farmers. Average deal with farmers 2,000 rupees per year. They are doing transaction with us. In local mandi, we are getting 10 lakh rupees per year. 5,000 rupees per day we are doing a business by giving a material. And home delivery, we are doing this much of amount, 8,75,000 per year we are generating from home delivery. And whatever new initiative which Janta Sabji Store, from there we are targeting to generate more than 15 lakh rupees per year. This is a customer validation.
When you talk about local mandi generating 10 lakhs per year, how many local mandis are we talking about? Or is it just one local mandi that is taking all the produce now?
No. Right now we are giving to 3 mandis here in Midnapur district.
And
one
how
is
about
in
home delivery? How many home delivery clients do you have?
Home delivery, basically household families are less, but we are targeting government schools. Like here in India, government schools are giving midday meal program is there, in which government is feeding the children. So we are targeting that school. We are also, our customer is rice mill. Here in West Bengal, many rice mills are there, and in every rice mill, 100 to 150 people are working, and they are, every rice mill owners have their canteens. So we are targeting them only. And household families, we have more than 50 customers on daily basis.
And how many rice mills do you have?
Rice mills, right now we are supplying to 4 rice mills. One is BK Agro, Pragati Rice Mill. These are the names of the rice mills.
Okay, got it. This is, what you're doing is actually very, very interesting. I love what you're doing. Now, if you want to scale this, you're going to have to, think about it in a way that is of building a scalable business. For that, you're going to need to think about IT and so on. And you're going to have to bootstrap this. This is not yet ready for funding. It's not going to be ready for funding right away, but you're going to need to think about it in a way that you can set it up for scale, if that's what you want to do. If you want to just operate as a small player doing very good work, which I think you are doing, that's fine. That is also an option. It's up to you, really.
No, we want to expand, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Let me, I've listened to both of you and I understand both of your businesses. Let me explain to you how to, how to use 1Mby1M. Folks, if you like what we're doing here, please refer serious entrepreneurs to 1Mby1M. We are interested in working with serious entrepreneurs from all around the world. Everything resource-wise is at 1Mby1M.com. We have a terrific blog. Just by following the blog, you'll learn a lot. On the blog, there is the Entrepreneur Journeys case study series, where we have profiled 1,000+ entrepreneurs and their journeys, how they have built their companies. Based on that, we also have a book series. You could learn entrepreneurship through this book series as well. These roundtables happen every week, and they're free, so you can come back to as many of them as you would like. Our full acceleration program, and if you're looking for funding, you would need to join the premium program. So the premium program offers you extensive methodology guidance. We have a full digital curriculum. We help you with business development. We help you with strategy consulting in a very similar format as what you're experiencing here. These are WebEx roundtables, except for the premium members. We have, members-only versions of this, not public. And we do help you with financing. We work with, about over 300 investors, and we do help you with financing. Once you're ready to be introduced to investors, we could introduce you to, in one afternoon, we could introduce you to 25, 30 investors, but you have to be there. You have to be ready. You have to be there. And the thing that you should be aware of is investor-entrepreneur fit. This is what creates funding events. So you can't really spray and pray and expect that all investors are going to be interested in what you have to offer. It's a very specific thing, and it's something that you're going to need to be very specific about, and we're very skilled at knowing all of this stuff. I recommend that you go through the self-assessment, which is a due diligence questionnaire that investors are going to ask you for, and be sure that you can answer these questions. We recommend that you go through our bootstrapping course as a starting point to get to know us. The bootstrapping course is a very good starting point. Deepak, you should definitely do this course. The link is in the public chat. Jonathan, I think you are further along. You can still do it, but it looks like you're further along. Maureen, could you also share the investor introduction link, please? By the way, if you get stuck on the self-assessment questionnaire, you can also do the full curriculum, the 1M by1M curriculum, which is accessible through 1M by1M Basic, our curriculum-only option. But one way or the other, you're going to need to create for yourself a mechanism for learning. So the basic curriculum is available for you to do that. So go look at the website, go dig around, understand what the premium program offers, what the basic program offers. If you are looking for funding, you're going to need to join the premium program. And there are FAQs, video FAQs, a full description of the curriculum. It is a case study-based curriculum, and we have a great network of, thousands of industry executives, entrepreneurs, etc., investors who work with us. So it is an ecosystem in its own right. Investor introductions, there's a whole section on this, on how we go about doing investor introductions. Please take a look at that before joining the program. Our methodology is bootstrap first, raise money later. So if you are starting to see validation and so forth, the likelihood of raising money is much higher. If you're going with just concept, it is very difficult to finance companies. So both companies that we saw today have some level of validation, which is a great, it's great to see that. So that is all. We have free roundtables coming up all throughout the next few weeks. Basically, the next month, there are roundtables every Thursday morning. We can go to further Q&A at this point. This is the call-in number. If you would like to call in, please go ahead, and I'll have the time to chat with you. If you have questions about the 1M by1M program, you can also contact Irina Patterson, irina@1M1M.com, and she will answer any and all questions that you may have about joining the program. All right. Questions, folks, you can also dialogue with me through the public chat. So feel free to type in your questions, and I'll be happy to answer. If you would like to ask questions by calling in, that's fine too. Either way, please go ahead. Anybody? Questions? Deepak, Jonathan, you're both on mute. So if you have further questions and you would like to talk, you need to unmute. I don't see any other hands up and I don't see any other questions, in which case I'm going to adjourn and we will talk next week. In the meantime, if you have questions about the program, please reach out to Irina. Thank you for coming today. Bye, everybody.
I think you didn't hear me, but thank you for the time.
You're very welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.